for those who don't know me, my name is Diana, Editor-in-Chief of Fox Media Group and its family of websites and social media personalities. March 26 marked my 10-year anniversary as a blogger activist. March 26, 2008, I began my blog, Porn in the Valley, which you can find at porninthevalley.com. I took the advice of someone I'd only met once, who told me I needed to fight back and a blog was the best way to do it. They were right. Looking back to that day, it's hard to believe all that's happened since. First and foremost, I thank all of you who've traveled this journey with me. I hope it strengthened you as much as you all helped to strengthen me. When I found myself in the porn industry back in 2008, I knew very little about how the internet worked. Over the past 10 years, I've taught myself most of what I've learned. A lot of it I've Googled. You can do that too. So I've learned how to code and program and design websites. I always was a writer, so that part was the easy part for me. But the rest I had to learn. And it wasn't easy. But again, I did it, so I know you can too. I taught myself how to become an internet personality so I could share my message of redemption and recovery from being sex trafficked inside the Los Angeles porn industry and Nevada's legal brothel system. God gave me the strength to learn how to speak out because He needed these truths to be told. 10 years later, we celebrate a major victory that just took place last week. What a wonderful way to celebrate my 10-year anniversary with such a blessed victory. The passing of the FOSTA-SESTA regulations with the necessary updates that will now hold website owners responsible and legally liable for helping pimps sell our children on the internet's sanctioned slave marketplaces. That's really what they are. The day after this victory was voted into law by our legislators, announcements were posted on several different social media websites that were carrying sex ads, such as Craigslist, Backpage, and even Reddit. They posted announcements saying that they would no longer host sex ads. Now that was a very prominent statement showing that the owners of these online slave markets were fully aware that they were aiding and abetting criminals in the sales of human beings for sex slavery, our children. I put together a timeline of my work over the years, just a reminder for all. Never let anyone tell you that as one person, you can't make a change in this world. Anyone who's followed my work over the past 10 years knows that the work of this one person has made all the difference in the world when it comes to the fight against sex trafficking, and especially sex trafficking inside our legal sex industries in America. One survivor's voice let the world know that an injustice took place. And that voice was mine. When you put together all the voices of each individual who speaks out because someone else did, the world can no longer ignore those voices that grow stronger as a group. I know my work has saved lives, and I pray that my work will continue to show others it's empowering to speak out and make your voice heard. Silence is the predator's greatest source of power. Only through breaking that silence can we take away their strength. And as their power diminishes, we find our strength grows as survivors. Thank you for your support over the years. When I began this mission, I asked my followers to be my witnesses. Through your continued support and keeping us in the public eye, you've helped protect our lives. Today, my daughter and I both have good jobs. We're looking towards the future. I'm saving for retirement. My daughter is looking, hopefully, to be getting married in the near future. I have a grandchild who's almost 7 years old. Life is good 10 years later. But we still have a lot of work to do. Over the years, you've witnessed more than anyone should have to see. But as we shared the evil that permeates our world still today, we stole Satan's power, and we helped others find the freedom meant for us all. Thank you for all your part in our many victories over the years. May God continue to bless our nation until everyone is free from the evils of human trafficking. Enjoy the show. We begin with a piece from the commercial which was made for my blog, Porn in the Valley. The truth was about to be disclosed, and Porn Valley pimps weren't going to be happy about it.
Isn't this a pretty picture? Welcome to Porn Valley. It looks like any other city, and if Porn Valley has its way, you'll believe that the LA porn business is like any other industry. Just a bunch of hard-working entertainment professionals making sexy movies that every so often launch porn stars into mainstream Hollywood. Porn Valley will have you believe that they are the pathway to you having your very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But unfortunately, it's all lies. The truth is on its way, and there's no stopping it.
In 2010, I began to capture my story in video. An activist actually sent me a flip video camera because she said it was a great way for survivors to share their story. Thus began my journey into public speaking. It's something I've always cringed at. But I had information that needed to be shared, and lives could be saved through my efforts. I started creating presentations, and as you will see, I did get better at it over the years. In this first speech, which I presented to many groups across Tampa Bay, Florida, you'll see I was still fearful for my life.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Diana. Some of you may also know me as former porn star Desi Fox. As you can see, I'm alive and well and living at an undisclosed location somewhere inside the United States. I want to thank you all for joining me here tonight for my first live broadcast at Desi's Desires Live. I'll be presenting pornography, fantasy versus reality. We'll be discussing facts and fiction inside the porn industry. We'll be talking about different issues that Americans are having which are related to porn. If you watch porn, you need to watch this series. There's a whole lot of dirty little secrets the porn industry doesn't want you to know. Porn is affecting many different aspects of our lives, but nobody seems to be addressing them. I'll be sharing these issues with you all and backing them up with the hardcore facts. I really didn't know that much about porn when I ended up working in the sex industries. Like most of you, I looked at it as an extension of Hollywood. It didn't take me long to start seeing the pattern of what they were really doing to our entire country. I remember the first time I started to pay attention. Someone said the porn industry was a $1 billion business, and I said, "What?" I thought it was some people into swinging. I was just as naive as most of you are. Having been a businesswoman, though, when I heard the amount of money involved, it made me sit up and pay attention. It was then I made the decision that I would learn everything I could about the porn industry. Truthfully, there's a lot that I wish I didn't know, because believe me when I tell you, what I saw was the true faces of evil during the time I worked in the porn industry.
True faces of evil. That is our American entertainment industry. Through Hollywood celebrities' Me Too movement, the world has learned it's not just our porn industry that is home to some of the nation's worst sexual predators. Los Angeles protects the worst entertainment predators in every aspect of the industry. In 2010, I took on the Los Angeles porn industry in a lawsuit against their testing center who allowed our private information to be stolen and released in online venues. The next couple of years, I was pretty quiet as I allowed my attorneys to speak for me through our court system. We shut down the testing center and changed industry standards. While the case was dismissed when they filed bankruptcy, and the bankruptcy trustee illegally destroyed evidence in our active case, it was still a victory against the porn industry that they haven't recovered from to this day. In 2013, I began my video activism once again. Let's see where I was then.
I have 11 sites all total. I'm working, on some of them more than others, but it's a lot of fun just to have places to put things that I can go back and have easy access to. So some of it's, real important and serious work, and then I have, which is my porninthevalley.com, foxmediagroup.com, which everything is actually under the FMG family. Moms Against Media covers all the sexualization that's going on in our media, print, especially in magazines, modeling, and but I also do get into Hollywood and other areas too. They're everywhere, and that's the whole point, and that's a lot of the reason why why we decided to do this show is because they're reaching everywhere, and the media isn't covering our side of the story. It's this is huge, and it's definitely evidence of sex trafficking, illegal prostitution. There's a lot of different things going on in Porn Valley, and it's time that America and the rest of the world know the truth about what porn is doing to our society. Go through this, the connection between all the porn agencies, the girls, and the escorting agencies is not a very far trip. And there's just, they're always saying that, there's nobody's prostituting or nobody's escorting in porn, that they may have a stray girl or two, but now you're seeing that this is the norm in the industry. This is an industry standard to escort, and something needs to be done about it because it's sex trafficking.
Next, I got on a spot on a local Tampa Bay show where we discussed sex trafficking in our area and the work of Florida Coalition Against Human Trafficking, a grassroots organization that truly saved my life in 2010. They showed me the truth about what happened to me. They confirmed I was a victim of sex trafficking by the Los Angeles porn industry. Then they taught me how to take my life back from those pimps. That's when I became a true survivor.
Welcome back to Tampa Bay Right Now. For those of you just tuning in, viewer discretion is advised as the content may be too sensitive for some of our viewers. Joining me now are Diana Grandmason from the Florida Coalition Against Human Trafficking and State Outreach Coordinator Giselle Rodriguez. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
So Diana, let's start with you first. I know you're a survivor of human trafficking. Can you tell us your story?
Yes, I worked for 2 years in the adult entertainment industry in Los Angeles, California. Since that time, I've become an activist working to bring awareness to sex trafficking in the porn industry, sharing the information I gathered while working there. Mm-hmm. I train law enforcement, politicians, nonprofit organizations, and religious groups on the secrets that the sex traffickers in the porn industry use and bringing awareness to also the societal issues that are connected to the access, the free access and increasing access of pornography on the internet.
And I know that you said the secrets that they used. Would you say that sometimes people don't even know that they're getting wrapped up in this and it just kind of happens too fast?
Absolutely. I was 47 and a businesswoman, and
Wow.
they tricked me. So it
So-
can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And you figure if it can happen to me, who, was, like I said, 47 years old and a businesswoman, you look at the young girls, the teen girls, and the young women that get in there, and they have no idea what they're getting involved in.
Right. And so, Giselle, how did you meet Diana?
Goodness, it was several years ago, and I remember opening up my email, checking my email, and received an email from Diana, and I could tell that she was definitely in distress. And one of the things I did was I went ahead and reached out to her and said, I'd like to meet with you, and I'm glad that she did. And I know that there's a lot of things that were going in her life, and I'll definitely let her share that part. And once I met her, I listened to her story, and all the elements for or to be able to prove human trafficking were present in her story. So at that time, the Florida Coalition Against Human Trafficking decided to assist her, and we're very proud of everything that she's doing at this point. And believe me, from the moment I met her to now, she's a completely different woman.
And so I'm sure a lot of that is thanks to the Florida Coalition and Giselle. What would you like to say
Absolutely.
about that? How did it change your life?
Well, they saved my life. I was actually contemplating suicide at the time that I sent that email out. I sent it out to 5 different women's groups, and Giselle was the only one who answered.
Wow.
And she saved my life that day. I mean, I was a wreck. I have been, for the last 5 years, I've been stalked. And they've contacted all my family and, terrorized my life. And I really didn't see a future. And it's thanks to Giselle and FCAT, they showed me that there are a lot of people out there that care and understand what I went through and are there to help support and rebuild your life.
And what's startling to me is how often it's happening, because I feel like it's not really, out there in the media so much. So it is heartbreaking, but we don't hear about it so much. So then when I'm talking to you here, I'm like, oh, it just hits you that much harder that this is happening every day to, regular people that maybe have gotten wrapped up in something they can't get out of now. So Diana, what would be your advice to women in order to stay away from this, to not become a victim?
Well, I mean, our whole society needs to change the way that they look at it. They look at porn as just, innocent entertainment.
Right.
And it's not. There's a lot of sex trafficking and a lot of abuse that goes on in there. That's one of the things that I advocate for, is for workers' right. It is a legal industry. And we need to be enforcing the laws and protecting the people that work there. And when there's crimes going on, and nobody's talking about it, you hear connections between sex trafficking and porn, but you don't hear sex trafficking in porn. And that's, women need to know about that. They need to know that, there are men out there that will take advantage of you, that are setting you up. The recruiters, they romance the girls. They build you up. One of your other guests talked about the Stockholm Syndrome, the grooming and trauma bonding that goes on to get the girls involved and get them inside is just, it's insane what it really is, the way that they do it. And you have no idea in the midst that you're going through this. It was through the help of Giselle, understanding what happened to me. Right. I mean, I know something happened and it's not right, it's evil, but I didn't know how to describe it. And, she's the one who showed me the information on trafficking, and I went, this is exactly what happened.
Wow.
So people need to know.
As you can see, I got better at public speaking. Giselle and her mother are the true faces of FCAT, and they've done a wonderful job helping save many who've been caught up in the evils of human trafficking. Please consider donating to them, as they do save lives. They saved my life, and that was definitely worth it. On to 2014, where I began a show with another ex-porn star, Monica Foster, also known as Alexandra Mayers. Here's a few clips from our year-end show in 2014. As my personal life began to take shape again, I grew stronger and more determined than ever to continue to spread the truth about the evils of our legal American porn industry. As you can see, I decided to take on entertainment, sexual predators, and their enablers when I added celebrity outings to my show. Hollywood has been protecting celebrity predators to exploit and abuse the innocent for way too long. Again, all my work led me to realize our entertainment industries were united in this evil quest. So I, in 2014, made the decision to take them all on.
It's been a crazy year and a good year. I sent you a link just the other day, the Slate article saying 2014 was the year of outrage.
Yes.
And I thought that was a good title for this year, and it made me think back to the beginning of the year. My wish was that everyone would get a cause and go fight for it, spend some time fighting for what's important. And if you look at the year and you look at their article, I think that you see that we did. We all had a voice, and we made change this year. There was a lot of change. And so, when you start looking at the whole picture, you've got corruption in the courts. You've got, evidence being manipulated and destroyed. And then you've got stalkers over here who are trying to shut us up. We're activists, we're whistleblowers, and nobody seems to want to talk about any of this. The media does not want to touch any of it. When they went after our GoDaddy accounts, and I got an email from GoDaddy saying that I had 3 days to respond through a court, or they were going to release my billing address and other personal information from my internet account, from my hosting and domain accounts. And, 3 days. It was out of Miami court. I'm in Tampa. So, 3 days to figure out what I'm going to do. I couldn't do it. And the point is we already know Randazza has our addresses. He's had them for some time. So this was just sheer intimidation, and they all have criminal backgrounds. I mean, there's domestic violence, there's assault. It all has to do with violence, and these men stalk us regularly. Randazza subpoenaed and received our home addresses. To where he turned around and they were posting things right afterward about our homes and photos of Monica's home and where she went, so we know they were physically stalking her. And nobody does anything about it, and the courts actually allow this stuff to happen. And we're not going to make this a political show, but the fact is that's a pedophile that's in the political arena in Nevada, and Mark Randazza and the Free Speech Coalition are directly connected with this. I mean, it's all over. They even wrote about it. It's how we get a lot of our news, is just following all the porn stars. They just can't seem to help themselves, and it's all out there in the public. I mean, all you have to do is look. She came out, she talked about it. She was, it definitely fits the criteria of sex trafficking. Over the years that we've been covering this, I think I've been doing this over 6 years now, and you've been doing it over 4. So, since we've been doing this, there's at least close to a dozen victims that we've identified. And the police, they don't do anything about it. You're at work. And when you go to work in the United States, you're supposed to be protected. And that's what that's all about.
Here's 2015. I was back on my own producing a new series called Connecting the Pervs. I had some fun trying out my different online personas as I worked to get my message out there. I guess at this point I wasn't shy anymore. and I was trying to have some fun along the way. A little bit of my sense of humor, but I'm really not that good at it. Oh, hi! Welcome to another episode of Connecting the Pervs. I'm Diana, and I am the auditor. I became the auditor back in 2012 when I decided to take on the task of auditing the underbelly of America. In particular, America's legal sex industries. Yeah, I worked there for 2 years, and I know a lot of things that went on that's not being told to the public. They promote it in media, in entertainment, in music, and our youth thinks that working in the sex industries is glamorous. We'll make you famous. We'll make you rich. None of the above is going to happen. Instead, what happens is once you get in there, you can't get out. Why violence is so rampant in our nation today? Just look at our entertainment and our media and our music. That'll tell you a lot. There's violence everywhere. You have violence in porn. We have violent porn. We're encouraging rape in our porn. Rape and torture of women. There's sex trafficking laws that have been passed. There's sexual predator laws and pedophilia laws that have been passed in California, but nobody in California will enforce them. We have enough laws on our books to take care of every criminal activity in this country today, if we could just get enforcement. But we all know that's a problem. Definitely a problem under the Obama administration. And if Hillary wins, I see it getting even worse. I haven't chosen my candidate. There's too many to pick from, and it's too crazy. But one thing's for sure. Our country can't survive another 4 years of this type administration. And that's Hillary Clinton is even worse than Obama. So we have to do something about it. In 2016, I began working as a full-time political activist, fighting to keep crooked Hillary Clinton from becoming president, because all my research told me that she would legalize prostitution on a federal level. Here's the hardcore facts of what we were really up against in the 2016 election. Nobody talks about this, but this is what was really at stake. We're going to talk about Amnesty's push to decriminalize pimps and johns under the guise of the Nordic model. By the way, you can find me on Twitter at PimpinPolitics, and I started this website and group of social media accounts in 2012 after my research led me to the Democrats as being the prime group who is supporting the Los Angeles porn industry and the pimps that run their illegal sex trafficking ring. You have to go look at my websites. Porninthevalley.com is where all my information on the porn industry is. And basically, it is a front for illegal international sex trafficking. It's come out recently that Hillary Clinton is very closely connected to a man by the name of George Soros.
Our country needs us, and we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
He was born in Budapest, Hungary on August 12, 1930, as George Schwartz, the son of Orthodox Jews.
It was actually probably the happiest year of my life. that year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, you know, because you see incredible suffering around you. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
So what is his target now? Us. America.
He said it himself on many occasions. He said, what I have done in other countries in terms of overturning bad governments, I'm going to do in this country.
In one of his books, Soros writes, quote, "The main obstacle to a stable and just world order is the United States."
Our country needs us, and we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
We're going to talk about that tonight. So basically, Amnesty International, they're a human rights organization. They're like the oldest human rights organization, very large, worldwide, international organization. Last year, they came out saying that they wanted to decriminalize sex work. That's what I want to talk about, is the fact that what they're doing out on social media, I have found, is they're running a con. And they're confusing the issues of the Nordic model, which decriminalizes prostitution, the prostituted person, decriminalizes them. And it gives stronger penalties for the men who buy sex, which is the John, or like over in Europe they call them punters. So we have the Johns or the punters who Amnesty wants to give a human right for them to be able to purchase, rent, pay for another human being's body parts to use them for their sexual self-gratification. Amnesty also wants to give pimps a human right to be able to sell other humans. Now, this is against everything that every country who takes a stand for human rights is against. It's human trafficking. It's slavery. And Amnesty International, who is a human rights organization, they want to legalize the right to buy and sell human beings for sex slavery. That's right. We're here. And we're here tonight specifically because Hillary Clinton is a feminist. And she believes that you have a right to sell your own body. But prostitution, it's just another body parts business that the feminists are involved in. So recently it came out that George Soros, a very, very rich man, in fact, he happens to be one of the 30 richest men in the world, and he also happens to be a very close friend and advisor of both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So we know where a lot of this has been coming from over the last 8 years now. George Soros is putting his money behind Amnesty International and their battle to give pimps and johns a legal right to buy and sell human beings for sex slavery. So this is important to the U.S. right now, right here, because Hillary Clinton is running for president. And if she becomes president, there's a very good chance that she will help to legalize prostitution on a federal basis, which means all 50 states, they can buy and sell your daughters for sex. That's right. Amnesty is going around pretending that their plan is the same as the Nordic model. It's not anything like it. Basically, you'll find if you try to talk to someone who's online, who's from Amnesty or associated with Amnesty, and you're trying to have a discussion about decriminalizing prostitution and, what are the best options for it, you'll find that, first of all, they want to call them sex workers. They won't call them prostitutes. They don't want to call them victims, and they won't call them exploited. They will call them sex workers. They will call what they do sex work, not sex trafficking or commercial sexual exploitation, which is what it really is. So that's the first thing that you'll find. They'll talk about decriminalizing sex work and sex workers. Amnesty's approach is to, first of all, change pimps from pimps into sex workers. They want to make any person who works in a sex industry a sex worker, which includes your pimps and your recruiters. So Amnesty wants to decriminalize the pimp, change his title to a sex worker, and give him equal legal protection as the decriminalized prostitute. So laws made to protect the exploited would protect pimps, madams, recruiters, anyone who's involved in sexually exploiting the prostituted. So then they decriminalize the John, the purchaser, the buyer. They want to give them a human right to rent or buy human beings to use their body parts for sexual self-gratification. Seriously, they want to give them a human right to do this. Now, being able to rent people's body parts, human beings' body parts, this is a violation of everything that our society stands for. Because we don't need this. We don't need our daughters doing this. They're raping and torturing our daughters in the Los Angeles porn industry. And they want to legalize it all across the nation. They can legally bind your daughters in a sex slavery contract. They can force her to have sex with as many men as they say per day. They can force her to do acts that she doesn't want to do. This is what's coming, and George Soros is helping make it happen. The main push for legalizing prostitution worldwide is from the Global Network of Sex Work Projects. Their support was cited in the draft proposal. Known pimps were also cited. The vice president of the Global Network of Sex Work Projects was sentenced to 15 years in prison for sex trafficking. These are the people that are working with human rights activists from Amnesty International and George Soros to legalize sex trafficking worldwide. You need to take a real good look at the agenda George Soros and Hillary Clinton is pushing around the world and right here in America. And you'll see the agenda that Barack Obama has been working the last 8 years. As pimps and pornographers and sexual predators have taken over our country. You'll see exactly where Hillary Clinton is planning to take us. Follow the money, and you'll always find the truth. Are you ready for your daughters to go off to work every day as a sex slave? To be used by some guy for his sexual fantasies? To be sexually, mentally, and physically abused as part of her job description? Are you really ready for that for your daughters? Are you ready to take sex trafficking out of the TVPA and give pimps complete legal immunity for the crimes they commit against humanity, against our children, our women, and our men, that they continue to exploit and extort? If Hillary Clinton becomes president of the United States, her motto for your daughters will be, America, the world's biggest brothel. Pimps and hoes, here we goes. On that note, we're going to close our first webisode of Doming the Democrats. We'll see you next time. Go out and vote. Vote your conscience. Amen. Good night. I thank God every day that Donald Trump won. I know that was as much a surprise for me as it was for my followers. But God does work in mysterious ways, and we just have to trust him. I did. I cast my vote for the real Donald Trump. And I haven't been sorry a day since. In 2017, my daughter decided to join Twitter, and she became an online activist overnight. I was both amazed and proud of her for speaking out. We had just been targeted at our work by our prior co-worker who was connected to Scientology. Being that we live in their Mecca headquarters in Clearwater, Florida, we found that the Scientology stalker agency, using their fair game tactics against their cult members who leave and speak out, are actually connected to our stalkers. Go figure, right? Seems they're all working together to intimidate and harass anyone who speaks out against their evil agendas. And so they have joined forces against us here in our own town. We decided to fight back one day when we found their bus fleet. Here's our road trip footage for your enjoyment. As you can see, as survivors, we now stalk the stalkers. Turning the tables on these criminals is what they least expected. As Americans, we must stand together against their bullying tactics that are meant to oppress and destroy the good people of this country. We hit the mother lode.
Yeah, this is where
Scientology apartments.
Yeah.
This is the dormitories where they keep their slaves.
We want to follow the flag bus. Go catch us that bus, and we're gonna follow it. That's what we're doing. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Just don't break no laws.
Barely any car.
Right, well, you can tell the difference between the Scientology owned and the ones that aren't. All the ones that are owned are... There's a flag bus there at that one. Look, here's another apartment complex with a flag bus.
Hi, Mr. Flag Bus.
Yep, and here's a flag bus. Look, and here comes a bunch of kids out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, they're running.
Wow.
Yeah. Where are you going, dude? There is no turn there.
There he goes.
Uh-huh. There he goes. Sherwood Gardens flag bus. There
Have you
they
ever been
are.
to the hole?
There we go. Going from over here with school books from this side, crossing the street where the flag buses are picking them up.
This is a nice truck behind us. Oh, look, what's the street name? What street are we turning on?
Saturn.
Saturn. Why are all the streets in Clearwater? Why are so many named after planets? And look, Leo.
Oh, look. I think
see this guy following
I was
us?
gonna say, I think we picked up a tail. Oh, look, he's parking at the end of the street. Let's go down here.
We're on Leo.
He's parking at the end of the street.
She didn't look happy.
Now they have a lot of Hispanics that work for them. So you will see,
We've definitely noticed that.
yeah, you will definitely see in a lot of these places a lot of Hispanics around. They are staff. Scientologists do pay well.
Oh, they'll throw money at you all day long if you do what they want.
If you do anything they want.
Suck you in, so you'll go spend it on them.
Well, then it's to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Oh, here comes one out. Yeah, yeah. Keep going. Straight.
Shake my
Picking up the staff.
Yep, they drop them off and pick them up. That's what the
Now
lady
let's go
at work
downtown
told me.
and we can show where
That's
they're
what
at.
the lady at work told
Yeah.
me. Is that they just are in
Oh,
and out
oh.
all day long,
Yeah.
picking them up.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna find out where
Yeah,
they take
now
them.
we're going to follow. Because they're going to go downtown, drop them off.
Yep.
Yep. You got tail, baby.
How does it feel to be followed?
All in the day of a
Right.
Scientology flagship bus driver.
Right? This is what you do. You run people around so they can be brainwashed and go work for the cult.
They picked that guy up off the side of the road.
They just picked some random dude up off the side of the road, yes. He could have been coming from anywhere.
Picked up some kids that came from one apartment complex with school books, crossed the street into another one, get into a bus, and then it also looked like they picked up some help because there were some Hispanics who are usually the nannies.
So, how do you think the Scientologists feel about following themselves? They're following us, but we're following them. It's just a big old, circle of life. Time wrote an article calling them a greedy cult.
Okay.
Bring you out to the nice, beautiful
Yeah,
water.
we're out to the water.
So everybody can see,
This
the
is
scam.
Edgewater Drive.
Noticed it.
Jump onto it.
She's like random, You're turning?
Still following the bus. Not sure what's happening here. Oh. Turning. Don't know where. Oh, we're barely on the side of the road.
Picking somebody up?
Picking up, it's called the Clipper. Okay, so we found another one. I would pull up where you came. It's a street right up there.
All these are locked up. You see this?
Yeah, all these are gated. Yeah, see, there's not a single car there during the day. You see this?
Why would they all be gated?
No. You could walk around here, no problem. Oh, look at here, look at here.
Yep.
Who is this? Security guard.
Ow!
Oh, there he goes. There he goes. You got it.
I stopped.
You got it. You stopped.
I stopped.
Woohoo! Here we go. Right.
What do you think they picked
I
up?
don't know. And who was that security guard with all the stuff on his belt?
Right. He
Man?
definitely was security. He didn't
Oh,
have a gun. He
yeah.
had a big old tablet.
Coming out of that, and that's a little hotel. We're coming into the heart of downtown.
Yep.
And we'll see where the flagship bus stop is.
This is downtown Clearwater. Pulling in. Fancy. Scientology wants you to think it's nice.
Look, we have a car in the middle of the road.
What
just
exactly is going on
stopped.
here?
Yeah, what are the bus is like over in the other lane.
Right, I guess we're
We
going
got
around.
cars. This car is abandoned on, yeah, it's like, wow. Trying to cut us off, maybe?
Oh man.
So yeah, if you look, the building with the blue paper on the balconies, that is Tom Cruise's new building.
Oh look, they're getting out! Oh my god, they're walking right past us.
They sure are.
Glad I rolled up the window.
Yep. You didn't roll mine up.
Coming up on Tom Cruise's apartment, our
Yeah.
old work.
We used to work in that building. Tom Cruise has the penthouse at the top now. They've turned it from a work building.
Road?
Yeah, it is a road.
Okay.
Oh,
Right?
where are we going now? Man, I feel sorry for these people on these buses getting bounced all over
Oh,
the
we
place.
get to see the Drug-Free World and CCHR offices.
Yeah.
Which are right
What is
here.
that? No B4.
No before.
I never saw that before.
No, they've developed a lot of these buildings. If you
Yeah.
look at them on Google, though, it shows one side of the road's all nice, the side that they've done up. The other side's all abandoned buildings, all boarded up.
United
So
for
Way to
Human
Happiness,
Rights, Way to
Foundation for a
Happiness.
Drug-Free World. They've got them
Foundation.
all down there. So
Yeah.
we'll have to make that drive too
Yeah.
on our way back.
Oh,
but if
we're
you
gonna
look,
go by the Fort
the
Harrison
rest
here.
of the buildings are all abandoned. So we have the Church of Scientology. There's the signs on the front, and they like to deceive.
This is the
By
side
not
of
marking
the Church
things.
of Scientology.
Yeah, this is the corner of Fort Harrison and Cleveland. We've got sirens coming. Oh, it's a fire patrol.
Yeah. Okay, there is the Church of Scientology
Yes.
at the corner of Cleveland and Fort Harrison. We got sirens, we got helicopters, got all kinds of stuff going on. Here we
Oh,
go.
we can't turn there. Well, we could, but
That's where they pull in. See, you got
and it's
the
a
Pinellas
Scientology
Park,
center. So if you,
the-
can you
or
get
Pinellas County
the building they're
bus
pulling into?
terminal.
So that is where the buses end. And you can't see the big cross, but it is right by there.
So we
working
saw where
hard.
the buses end in downtown Clearwater, and now we're going to come up. This is Fort Harrison Hotel. It's where we're in front of them, and they have the walk through across, and this is the flagship building where they supposedly have that big grandiose treatment center. Can't seem to get through the lights because they piled up a bunch of cars, if you'll see, and nobody seems to really be moving. So we're now stuck here, so we were not able to follow the buses when they left ground zero here. Well, as you can see, times have changed plenty over the past 10 years. From the days when I was terrified I would be killed for speaking out, to today, where I'm chasing the enemy and they're the ones on the defensive. Don't ever let anyone tell you that just one person can't change the world. When I changed my way of thinking and used my faith in God above, I was able to move mountains. So too can you. You just have to believe, and you just have to go out and do it. In closing tonight, here's to another 10 years of victories, to another 10 years of America growing closer to God, and to another 10 years of America moving away from these evil agendas that are being committed against our world's citizens. You can do anything you set your mind to, as long as you have God on your side. That's all you have to remember. Good night, and God bless you all. May you all gain the strength necessary to fight for what is right, to fight for what is good, and for what is just. I did. And you all know what happened after that. Amen.